Here we are talking about, we're going to break down both the trucks and the Xfinity series on this video, on this live stream. So you guys feel free to ask any questions that you have about either slate. I'll answer them for you. I'm going to start off the truck series and then go to Xfinity, kind of just breaking down, going over what every single driver needs to do to pay off their salary, and if I think they can do it, obviously. So we'll get into that. Let's, leave a like, subscribe if you're not already. That's it. Let's go. Kyle Busch, first up, he needs to lead laps. Like Kyle Busch, I mean, he's $14,000, but he starts second place. He's gonna lead laps. We all know what he's gonna do. He's just dominant in this truck. So play Kyle Busch. That's my first thought. I have him in 95% of my lineups today. So one lineup without him is what I do not have Kyle Busch in today. So I do really like him. I'm gonna be playing a lot of him. Ross Chastain needs a top 10 to pay off that salary. I don't think. I mean, like you can play him, but if you're playing him at that point, you're like fading Kyle Busch, and I just don't want to do that. I'd much rather play Kyle Busch. You can't play both those guys together, and I'd just rather pay for the Dominator upside. Like Ross Chastain, he'll get place differential, but he's not going to get you Dominator points. He probably won't get any fast laps, and he's not going to get any laps led. And honestly, top 10's pushing it in an East truck, so I'm really not expecting anything from Ross. I'm not going to play him at all today. Austin Hill and Zane Smith, they both need to lead laps, pay off their salary. Usually I'd be like, yeah, I like those, but not Kyle Busch on the slate. So I just think Kyle Busch and then Nemechek are probably going to get the most laps led in this race. So I'm going to be off Hill and Smith today. Tyler Ankrum needs a top 11 to pay off that salary. He's fine. I think he definitely could pay off that salary, but at the same time, you're paying a lot for him, and that's hard to fit good lineups in when you're paying up for Kyle Busch. So I don't know how much I love it. I've said all year I just don't like paying up for place differential. I want to pay for Dom points. Those are just points to go for. So I'm probably not going to have too much Ankrum, but if you want to play him, I think it's fine. There's definitely ways you can fit him in. It's just not how I'm going today. I do think he has a good chance of paying out that salary, though. Sheldon Creed needs to lead laps. Don't think it happens without Kyle Busch or with Kyle Busch in the field, and he's not as great. He's more of a short track driver than an intermediate driver anyway. John Hunter Nemechek starts first. He needs to lead laps. I think it's, him or Kyle Busch is probably going to be the dominator today. I gave Nemechek some laps led in my projections. I think he gets out front at some point. I'm pretty sure he's the best regular in the series this year. He's the favorite to win the championship, in my opinion. So, yeah, I like him. I think he's a good one to play. I understand. Now John Hunter Nemechek's someone I really like to target if you're not playing Kyle Busch. If you're making a lineup where you're fading him, I think Nemechek's most likely to lead laps, and so that's probably the spot I want to go to. You can play them together, but if you're not playing Kyle Busch, that's probably where I'd go to with John Hunter Nemechek. Brett Moffitt needs a top 3 to pay off that salary. I mean, that's fine. He can get that. He's in a niche truck. It's not as great. I said that over and over again, but he's still a really talented driver. If you want to go there, go there. Grant Enfinger is probably one of my favorite plays on the slate, though. He needs a top 9 to pay off that salary. DraftKings just missed on his price. He's in a good car this week, or truck this week. He's back in the ThorSport 98 truck. He's not driving for that number 9 team, the Cody Rohrbach team, like he was last week when he had a top 10 finish, I believe. Or he had a top 10 average running position. I don't know if he finished top 10. But yeah, I mean, he's just, we know what Grant Enfinger is. He's a great truck series driver. He's been a regular for years, was in the championship 4 years ago, and now he's racing part-time. I think he's on a mission this year, so I think a top 10 is definitely in the cards for him. He needs a top 9 to pay it off. Really like him. Gonna like him in cash, like him in tournaments. I'm going to be playing a lot of Grant Enfinger today. Ben Rhodes, he needs a top 2 to pay off that salary. Can happen. I mean, if he leads laps, obviously that'll help that out. He may not need a top 2 then, but I mean, I'm not too high on Ben Rhodes. I think it can happen. Parker Kligerman, I don't want to play him. He needs a top 8 to pay off that salary. I mean, he can get that, but at the same time, like I don't think this truck's that great. He's a good driver. Like, I wish he was in a little bit better equipment. And now I think this truck might start having sponsorship all year, so we'll see. But I'm not really on Kligerman here today. If he gets a top 8, oh well. That's just not where I'm going to today. Matt Craft needs a top 2. Could happen, but I don't really see it. Stuart Friesen needs a top 3. Again, same thing with Crafton. Like, yeah, it could happen, but more than likely, probably not. Derek Krauss starts 29th. He needs a top 15 to pay off that salary. I do like that. Derek Krauss, all of his numbers look really good at these tracks. 6th best average finish at Atlanta, 11th at intermediates, and 9th at cookie cutters and 4th at large ovals. All those are inside of top 15. Same truck as he was driving a year ago. So I really like Krauss here. Looks like someone I like for a place differential here. This is this kind of, look. Tyler Ankrum is starting one spot farther back, and he's $2,000 more. Derek Krauss, yeah, the Ankrum truck's a little bit better, but are we sure, Ankrum's even a better driver than Derek Krauss? Krauss is good and this truck that Derek Krauss is in is solid. It's not GMS equipment, but it's solid. So, if Derek Krauss finishes higher than Tyler Ankrum, I don't think anyone would be surprised. He has better numbers than Ankrum does here. I just don't understand, if you're playing a place differential play, just play Krauss, don't play Ankrum. Johnny Slaughter starts 13th. He needs a top 8 to pay off that salary. I don't see why he can't do that. That's someone I like for tournaments here. Rafael Assard needs a top 13 to pay off his salary, starting 23rd. He's, I mean, he just needs to keep it clean. He's had a rough start to the year, wrecked last week. I mean, he needs to, do well in this car, keep it clean, get a top 10 probably in his GMS truck just for this season. So I do like Lassard here. I think this is someone to target in tournaments and cash games. I'm going to have very heavy ownership to him. Chandler Smith's an interesting one. He only needs a top 8 to pay off that salary. And I don't think people are going to play him in tournaments because, I mean, he has legit top 4, top 5 upside. He's in that KBM truck. Teammates of, obviously, Kyle Busch and then John Hunter Nemechek. It's a fast truck. We've seen him show speed. That truck's just too cheap. Only a top 8 to pay off that salary. I think it's very doable. So Chandler Smith, I'm definitely going to be interested in. Todd Gilliland, top 8 to pay off that salary. That's fine. He can get that. I mean, I'd prefer Smith, but if you want to go to Gilliland, I think that's fine. Ryan Truex needs a top 19 to pay off that salary. That's pushing it, man. This is my thing with Truex. Like, I think he's a fine play, but I think his ceiling is like what his ceiling is like a top 16 maybe. I mean, if this race is chaos, if there's chaos in this race, there's a ton of wrecks. Like, yeah, he can finish inside the top 10 because that's just what happens in some of these truck races. But if there's not going to be chaos, then I don't see Ryan Truex really doing anything for us. I mean, he might pay off that salary. I can see him paying off the salary, but at the same time, I don't see him having high enough a ceiling for me to really want to play him. I'd rather play Gilliland or Smith. It's you're going to get more points with their higher finishing positions. Like, I think it's more likely that Smith or Gilliland hit that top 5 than it is that Truex hits that top 10. So that's where I prefer to go. Spencer Davis, $7,000. He needs a top 23 to pay off that salary. That truck's really not that good. I'm going to not go there today. Chase Purdy needs a top 17 to pay off that salary, starting 26. I think that's interesting. He's in a good truck. He's in a GMS racing truck, which, it's good equipment, but at the same time, Chase Purdy's kind of bad. Like, he's not good. So, top 17's doable, but at the same time, I would be a little bit nervous there. Tanner Gray needs a top 11 to pay off that salary. That's definitely doable, but that's like his ceiling as well. So, not as high there. I mean, I'm okay with it if you want to play him, but I don't think you need to. Haley Deegan. Haley Deegan's kind of killed everybody this year. She's wrecked every single race, but running very well at Vegas before she got caught up in an accident. There was nothing she could do, and then at the road course had a tire go down, 2 laps to go. What are you going to do? She needs a top 19 to pay off that salary. She should definitely do that. She continues to be underpriced. So I'm going to continue to go there. That's going to be a spot I want to continue to attack. Timothy Peters needs a top 13. Don't see that happening. Bill Lester, in his return to NASCAR, he needs a top 21 to pay off the salary. I think it's very doable. He's in the DGM truck. That's the truck we've seen David Gilliland drive. Teammates of Tanner Gray and Haley Deegan. Definitely a top 20 truck. I don't know how well Bill Lester is going to run, but he does offer some place differential. You're not breaking a bank to get him, so I do think that's fine. Jordan Anderson needs a top 18 to pay off that salary. Although his stats over the last few years have been good, recently that truck has not been, so I'm not really all that excited for Jordan Anderson. I think if you want to go there, that's fine, but I prefer Lester, Holmes, all these guys around him. Bret Holmes starts 35th. Really like Bret Holmes here. He needs a top 23. He was running really well before he got caught up in that accident in Vegas in his first ever race. So I think he should be able to. He's in good car for his own team, but he's getting equipment from GMS Racing, so that is a good truck. He's a talented driver. Was the ARCA Series champion a year ago. So Bret Holmes, I like him as a good place differential play at only 5,900. Corey Roper needs a top 23 to pay off that salary. I don't see that. Only way I see that is there's a bunch of wrecks. Spencer Boyd needs a top 19 to pay off that salary. Same thing. Don't really see him paying off. Danny Bone needs a top 18 to pay off that salary. I don't see that happening. Tate Fogelman needs a top 18 to pay off that salary. That's another one I'm just not too high on. Dawson Cram needs a top 21 to pay off that salary. No, he's not going to get that. Like, these guys, here you go. Like, Roper, Boyd, Bone, Fogelman, Cram, and I'm grouping Cody Rohrbach as well. He needs a top 18. The only way I see these guys paying off their salary if there's a bunch of crashes and they just avoid them. Then they're probably going to pay it off. But if there's not a bunch of accidents, which, it can happen. There's more likely for there to be a bunch of accidents in trucks and Xfinity than the Cup Series. But if that doesn't happen, these guys aren't going to be able to play. So if you want to go there in tournaments, you can, but I just don't see it happening. Austin Wayne Self is going to be one of the real value guys I like here. He needs a top 14 to pay off that salary. That's a little risky because, he's Austin Wayne Self. But at the same time, he's so cheap that it doesn't matter. Carson Hocevar, top 17. I prefer to Wayne Self. I think he's a better punt play. I think he does finish top 17. I honestly have more faith in Hocevar's talent than Wayne Self's talent. So I like Carson Hocevar. This says Chris Wright. This is actually Josh Berry. Let me replace that. Oops, forgot to change that. Josh Berry is replacing Chris Wright, who has COVID. So Josh Berry in that literally same truck, the Young's Motorsports truck. He needs a top 18 to pay off that salary. I think that's definitely very doable. Ryan Ellis, needs a top 26 to pay off that salary. That Ramey Brothers truck, I'd prefer to go to Ogata. Needs a top 29, paying a little bit less, doesn't need to do as good. So I'd prefer that one. Norm Betting, Jennifer Joe Cobb, obviously we never play those guys. So, I mean, if you want to get Ogata, I think that's fine. I prefer to just kind of go to Hocevar. And honestly, I prefer to just not even have to get down here. Or Barry. I think Barry's better than Ogata too. But I'd prefer to just kind of stick around the Holmes and Lester range. But I understand if you have to, playing Kyle Busch, if you want to play another one of these really up top guys. So, that's it for the truck series. Just, review here. Let's go look at the Xfinity real quick. I need to exit out this real fast though. There you go. Xfinity series. We'll start with Gregson. Also, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. That's what I'm here for. I'm answering all your questions about both series. I don't care. I'll answer them. So Noah Gregson needs a top 8 to pay off. I mean, look, Noah Gregson's had a rough year, man, but that guy, I mean, he's just had awful luck. I mean, Miami was going to win the race. Then David Starr, boom, engine, boom. Then he finished well at Vegas. And then last week at the road course, not the road course, at Phoenix, he was, in the top. I think he was in second or third place, and his engine blew up. I mean, that's just tough, man. I mean, it's just nothing you can do about that. So he's starting back in 30th. He's not too expensive. Only needs a top 8 to pay off that salary. I definitely think that's something that he could definitely do. I definitely see the good potential for him to pay off that salary as long as he doesn't get in a wreck. Good morning, good stuff as usual. Lassard, Smith, or Krauss, pick 2 GPP. For GPP, I like Chandler Smith, but I mean, Lassard and Krauss just look like better plays. I'm going to go Lassard and Krauss. I know Smith's going to be lower owned, but I just don't think he's as good of a play as those two. So yeah, definitely Krauss and probably Lassard, and then Lassard as well. Martin Truex Jr. racing for Joe Gibbs Racing in number 18, or not, he's starting 18th. He's in at number 54 car. We've seen Ty Gibbs win with this year. Ty Dillon's also drove it. He only needs a top 3 to pay off the salary, but like, it's Martin Truex Jr. Like, I know it's not Kyle Busch. Everyone knows Kyle Busch Xfinity Truck Series, but like, Martin Truex Jr., he's a champion in the Cup Series. He won literally the race in the Cup Series last week. Like, what are we doing with him at 11,300? Way too cheap. Love him. I have almost, I think I have 95% of him as well in my Xfinity line. It's like 95 Kyle Busch in the trucks and 95 of Martin Truex Jr. in the Xfinity Series. So, love him. Love this play. I think this is a great, fantastic play. I just don't see any way getting around it. I mean, that's the problem with Noah. Like, I think Noah Gregson pays off his salary, but Truex, I mean, he's probably going to lead laps, get fast laps. He's going to do all of that. So I love Martin Truex Jr. here. I feel like you just kind of have to lock him in and move on. Austin Cindric's $10,900. He starts on the pole, lead laps, pay off that salary. Like, he should get the early lead. He's definitely the favorite to win this championship. He's been fast literally every week so far this year. He's led laps every race this year. So starting on the pole, I really like Austin Cindric to get some early laps led. There's a lot of value on this slate, so there's pretty easy ways to pair Truex and Cindric together. So I do like going after Centrix. Justin Allgaier also needs to lead laps. I don't think it happens. He's not been as great of a lap leader at the intermediate tracks as some of these other guys. I just see Cindric and then Allmendinger leading more. Allmendinger also needs to lead laps, but I think that's a good tournament play. More people are obviously going to be on these 3, but getting on Allmendinger could create some leverage here, especially pairing like Allmendinger and Truex, because everyone today is going to pair Cindric and Truex. So pair Cindric and Allmendinger, or pair Cindric and No, don't pair Cindric and Allmendinger. Pair Truex and Allmendinger, or pair Truex and Hamrick, or Truex and Jones. Like, these other guys can lead laps. Obviously, they're less likely because, it's Austin Cindric, but, that's just a tournament play here. Daniel Hamrick starts 11th. He needs a top 2 to pay off that salary. Hamrick's been fast all year. He's been honestly the fastest JGR car, maybe aside from that 54, but that car's been really fast. We saw him almost win Vegas a few weeks ago. I think he should have another good run here. Maybe racking some fast laps, possibly get some laps led. Brandon Jones needs a top 5 to pay off that salary. Definitely very doable. We know Brandon Jones can bring the table. Ryan Sieg. I think Ryan Sieg is going to be chalky, but I'm actually fading him completely. He needs a top 15 to pay off that salary. And while I do think he does that, I just don't think that he outscores some of these guys around him. Like, I will say it over and over again. We're paying for place differential, and 15, it's pretty much a ceiling. I mean, he can get a top 10, but I don't see it. You're paying for a ceiling right here, and I don't really want to pay for a ceiling. Except when it's like Kyle Busch, but it's just I just don't think he really goes absolutely nuts today. I'd prefer to just go Hamrick, Jones, Allmendinger, Haley, and any of these guys. Justin Haley, 9,200, starting 13th. He needs a top 5 to pay off that salary. Definitely very doable. Haley's a top, 7 driver in the series. Definitely can see a top 5 for him today. Michael Annett starting 27th. He's going to need a top 12 to pay off that salary. I like Annett. I think Annett should get a top 10 run in this race, and that's going to pay off that salary. And, no one ever plays Michael Annett. He's just not someone anyone really ever plays. He offers you some place differential, and he offers, if there's ways he gets into the top 5 by the end of these races. So I don't hate going there. That's definitely someone I like to play. Always a good tournament play, in my opinion, is Michael Annett. Riley Herbst needs a top 3 to pay off that salary. Probably not going to go there. I just don't see that. Harrison Burton is way too cheap. I don't get this at all. Harrison Burton offers us potential to lead laps, to win the race, to get fast laps, and to finish high. All of those. And he's $8,600. I don't understand it. Like, why are they pricing him at $8,600 and Daniel Hamrick at $10,000? Like, that 6-spot starting difference should not be the difference here. Harrison Burton's a great play, in my opinion. He could lead laps, and he could be a dominator. Probably won't, but he's going to finish in the top 5, assuming he doesn't have any issues. And, I just don't understand the pricing here. Way too cheap for me. Going to want to get that. Brett Moffitt starts 8th. He needs to pay off his salary at top 5. I don't see that happening today. Probably going to avoid that. Josh Berry needs a top 12 to pay off his salary. Definitely very doable. We've seen him be fast in that Junior Motorsports car this year. He's in a top 10 car, obviously, with the number 8 for Junior Motorsports. He offers us upside to finish high, to finish in the top 10 to get us some place differential and maybe even some fast laps. He is in a fast car, so I do like Josh Berry. Mike Snyder needs a top 6. It can happen. He's in good equipment, but, that's thin. I know he won a race earlier this year, but we all know that was a fluky win. So, it can happen. But at the same time, just, limit your expectations. I think it's a good tournament play, but that's really it. Ryan Vargas, I don't understand his pricing. He needs a top 19. He's not getting a top 19. Doesn't ever come close to that. We're going to avoid Ryan Vargas. Jeb Burton, $7,700. He needs a top 2 to pay off that salary. It can happen, but I doubt it. Santino Ferrucci, he's going to need a top 9. I think they priced him up too much here. I've actually liked playing Ferrucci the last few weeks in that Sam Hunt car, but now he's too expensive starting 12 for me to really want to get there. I don't see a top 9 for him. Alex Lebaye needs a top 20. He's too cheap. This is definitely something he could do. Top 20 is definitely in his cards. And he was having a good run last week and got wrecked at the end of that race. So that was just really unfortunate. He was doing really good for us, and then, wrecks happen, and it just screws us over. So Alex Lebaye, definitely someone I'm pretty interested in here today. Offers us place differential. I like it way more than Greg Galding, especially because Greg Galding's car is bad. Alex Lebaye's car is decent enough to get up in the top 20. Greg Galding, who also needs a top 20 to pay off that salary, it is not good enough. That car's bad. I don't want to pay for that at all. It's kind of like the Vargas thing. Just don't really want to pay for that. Brandon Brown, I'm going to be off him. Needs a top 6. It can happen, but still at the same time, it's more than likely not going to. Jeffrey Earnhardt needs a top 17. He won't get that. Colby Howard needs a top 16. I doubt it, man. You're just paying a lot of money for these cars, these JD Motorsports cars. I just don't like paying $6,800 and $6,600 for those cars. They're not good enough to really warrant those salaries. So I just don't really feel the need to get there. Jeremy Clements, he needs a top 10 to pay off that salary. I think that could happen, but at the same time, that's kind of his ceiling. I don't see him doing any better than that. So Jeremy Clements probably going to be an avoid here. I don't think that's going to be a play I really want to go to. Josh Williams needs a top 15. I know I was higher on him in the video earlier this week, but I don't know, man. I think it's, we're pushing it a little bit. There's some good value a little bit farther down. So Josh Williams, I probably am going to avoid him. I'm going to have a little bit of him, but at the same time, he just doesn't scream out. Again, you're kind of top 15 is probably his ceiling, and it's not even super likely he hits it, so probably not paying for that. Had 1, 2, 3, Lebaye and Jay Williams combo, took me out. Yeah, that sucks, man. I hate the wrecks, man. It just screw everybody. They screw everything up, man. I try more and more to just not look at my lineups while the race is going. And today I probably won't because I'll just be watching March Madness all day. But it's just because it's just so tilting when you're doing well and then a wreck happens and you get screwed. Jade Buford needs a top 17. He's too expensive. I don't see that. David Starr. So David Starr's interesting. He's sponsored today. Needs a top 25 to pay off that salary. Now, I think it can happen, but at the same time, it is a little bit scary because it is David Starr, and we don't always know how competitive these cars are really going to be. So I'd prefer to go to Jesse Little here. I do like Starr. I think you can play him, but I prefer Little. He needs a top 24 to pay off that salary, and I just believe in that talent of that driver. I know the BG McLeod cars, aren't by any means great, but but I'm still it's still Jesse Little could wheel that thing into a top 24. So I'd way prefer to go to him. Matt Mills is not good. That car's, I know he's also a BG McLeod car, but Jesse Little's actually good. Matt Mills isn't. So top 25 for Matt Mills, I don't see it. Landon Castle needs a top 17. Could happen. I think you're pushing it, though. I don't think his ceiling's high enough for me to really want to go to. I know it's a punt play, or maybe this is a value. The 4Ks are more punts, but it's a value play. So I guess we can go for Landon Castle. I probably have some ownership to him, and I don't think anyone's going to play Castle today. Everyone's going to play Star, Little, probably Mills too because he starts back. Fincham, Massey, Weatherman. So Castle, I think he's fine, but probably not a top guy. Blaine Perkins kind of killed us last week. He needs a top 20 to pay off that salary. It could happen, but I prefer Castle. Actually, Mr. Race looked at my lineup later and was like, that sucks. Yeah. Well, at least you weren't watching it. You might have thrown your phone after that wreck happened. Chad Fincham, $5,400. He needs a top 27 to pay off that salary. I believe he's sponsored today. I think you want to go for that. I think it's fine. I just don't ever really like playing these MBM cars, or this one's a Tory/MBM car. If you want to get that, I think it's fine. But at the same time, I'd prefer going to Mason Massey. He's in that 99 that we've seen Stephen Parsons run. And I know Parsons has killed us, but that car is still better than that than the one Fincham's in. That car needs a top 24 to pay off that salary, so I think that's very doable. And then Weatherman, I like more than both of them. He's in the Mike Harmon racing car, which they're a little bit better this year. I mean, look, Bailey Curry's been running really well, and Weatherman was up until last week. And the thing with Mike Harmon racing cars is you just always got to be worried about their mechanical failures, because if they have mechanical failures, you're kind of screwed. So that's just what we're going to hope that car doesn't have that. Starting 31st, he offers place differential, needs a top 23. I think if he doesn't have any mechanical issues, I think it's very doable. Bailey Curry needs a top 16. It can happen, but I don't know, man. I don't see him getting 2 fantastic runs in a row. It could happen, though, so if you want to go to Bailey Curry, I get it. Tommy Joe Martins needs a top 15. Tommy Joe Martins, man, he's looked good this year. Honestly, if you want to play Tommy Joe Martins, I don't hate it. Same thing with Timmy Hill. He's sponsored again this week. So, I mean, a top 18, I think he just should run anywhere from 15th to 25th, and he finishes top 18. He'll pay it off. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But I understand if you want to play Timmy Hill. Joe Graff Jr. I do like, though. He needs a top 21 to pay off that salary, and that's kind of where he's just been running around all year long. So I am definitely going to be pretty interested in Joe Graff Jr. Dexter Bean needs a top 24 to pay off that salary. I think it could happen. But Cody Ware's the one to play here. That number 17 car for Rick Ware Racing is, again, it's actually good. We've seen J.J. Yaley wheel that thing to almost top 10s. We've seen Cody Ware have top 20 runs. It only needs a top 23 to pay off that salary, and it is 100% a top 20 car in the series. So this is the play to go to if you're playing cash. I'm locking in Truex and I'm locking in Cody Ware, and I'm figuring it out from there. So that's what I like for that. So that's kind of to break the rundown, just a little bit rundown on those 2 races. Obviously, if you want more stats and more data, go watch the other videos. But if you have any more questions, if you have any questions you want to ask me for either slate, Trucks or Xfinity, I definitely will answer them for you. So go ahead and leave me some questions. As always, leave a like. Really helps me out. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. I'm doing another one of these live videos tomorrow as well, so be sure to check that out about the same time, I'd say. Probably the same time, maybe 12 o'clock. I don't know. Honestly, I got to look up what time basketball starts because I just don't want to. I want to miss as less amount of basketball as possible. Or as much amount of basketball as possible. So yeah, any questions you guys have, just let me know. I guess we can go look at who Bob picked, because that's how we always go with this. We go look who my guy Bob Pockers picked for today's race. So let's go look at that on Twitter. What actually is the impact of sponsorship? What about it makes a car a play versus no play about it? So when they have sponsorship, the teams are getting money in, and they can just put more money into the car. They can buy better equipment, use better equipment, pretty much that. So just when it's a sponsorship, they're getting paid, they're getting money. So it's just money coming in makes the cars go faster. And sometimes when they don't have sponsorships, they do the start and park. When you start in park, you start the race, run through laps, then you'll finish last, and we don't want that. So when there is sponsorship, they don't do that. Usually. Every once in a while, you kind of get screwed over by that, but for the most part, it does not happen. All right, Bob, who we playing today? Who's the winner? He definitely picked Truex and Busch, right? How do you not pick those 2 to win these races? Good info, thanks. Of course. Like seeing more people in here ask the questions, guys. Yeah, thanks. We got a good amount of viewers in here right now. Love to see it. I love to see it. Bob Pockers picks Kyle Busch to win the Truck Series race. Shocker. John Hunter Nemechek, Grant Enfinger, Zane Smith, Johnny Sauter. Like that top 5. Then he picked AJ Allmendinger to win the Xfinity Series race. Haley 2nd, Truex 3rd, Centrix 4th, Hamrick 5th. Yeah, I think Kyle Busch, when you have these Cup Series drivers go to the Truck Series, it's way more likely they win than when they go to the Xfinity Series, but I still think Truex does. I mean, we saw Kyle Busch win a few of them last year in Xfinity, and then Hamlin would have won if him and Ross Chastain didn't, wreck each other. Well, Chastain didn't wreck Hamlin. Or wait, was it? No, Hamlin actually wrecked him. Actually, Hamlin wrecked Chastain in that race, so yeah. Yeah, good point. Starting parks suck. Yeah, starting parks, man. I've gotten hurt by those. Actually, I haven't been hurt by those yet this year. And I was getting really good at figuring out who was going to start and park at the end of last year, so that was good. But there were races, man, I'd just be completely screwed over by that. Very, very disappointing. So yeah, go forward. Ask some questions. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for as long as you guys ask questions. Then I'll probably head out, go watch some March Madness. Actually, I gotta go get some food. Out of food, gotta go to the grocery store. What's up, Nate? Who is fave truck driver to roster? Any price besides Kyle? Let me pull up my truck sheet. Because off the top of my head, I can't think. I'm gonna say either Derek Krauss or Grant Enfinger. Enfinger as I think Grant Enfinger. I really like Grant Enfinger today. Yeah, that's probably where my spot, I'd say. But Derek Krauss too. Really like him also. There's no one I'm forgetting, right? The super value play is Cody Ware on the other slate. Yeah, that's right. Hopefully these will be some good races today, although to be honest, I'm going to not be watching them as closely. I'll probably have it on my iPad or whatever, but I'm going to be watching March Madness. Yesterday was ridiculous, man. My bracket's screwed. Friggin' Oral Roberts, man. Ohio State sucks. What about low-cost play? Low-cost play in the Truck Series. Haley Deegan's first one that pops off in my head, $6,500. But Bret Holmes. Yeah, Bret Holmes definitely is my favorite low-cost play. And then if you really want to go all the way down to 4K, I don't hate Josh Berry at 4,900. I think he's a good value as well. But I definitely prefer Haley Deegan and Bret Holmes. So yeah, ask any questions. Got some more viewers in here. Go ahead, ask some questions. Just answering questions about these two slates here before we get going. Truck Series race is at 2 o'clock, so or 2:30, something like that. And then the Xfinity one's 4, 5, 6, something like that. I don't really know. I made my lineups. I don't even care when lock is anymore. Once you make your lineup, it's not like NASCAR. It's not like NBA DFS where you gotta wait all until 5 minutes before you gotta submit your lineups. But fortunately, NASCAR, every once in a while something happens. But even when drivers get sent to the back, I don't really care as much as I used to. After last year getting screwed over by that, I'm not worried about that anymore. Yeah, any other questions in here? Both slates, Truck, Xfinity slate, ask questions, either slate, don't care. Salt Oral Roberts, the perfect bracket percentage at 0.0041%. Oh, that means 1-2 people in the world probably. Yeah, I can't believe that, man. Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. Unfortunate. Fortunately, I only had Ohio State Sweet 16, so I didn't have them in the Final Four like some of my friends did. It was pretty funny when my two roommates had them in the Final Four, and I was like, yeah, you guys are idiots. Of course they should have known Oral Roberts was going to win, obviously, man. Lester GBP, yeah, I like Bill Lester for GBP a lot. That's definitely someone to target in GBPs. And Cash, I'm a little bit worried because obviously we haven't seen him racing forever, and it's not like he's in the best equipment. He's in good equipment, but he's not in the best. So I would be a little bit, maybe wouldn't go there in Cash, but in tournaments for sure. Cash Game Xfinity, 2 slots left, 11,800. Best 2 of available. Let me go to the Xfinity sheet real quick. So Cash Game Xfinity, 2 slots left, total 11,800. Best 2 of available. I would assume you probably already have Cody Ware because I feel like he's going to be played in every single Cash lineup. I mean, I think Josh Williams is fine. I think David Starr's fine. I think Castle's fine. Little's fine. Jesse Little, I think I like him. Any of those guys, that's probably where I go with the money left over and just pay up for the rest. Pay maybe up in the 8K range or something. Who's your favorite mid-range price for Xfinity with Ware and MTJ? Who would be third plug to start lineups with? Favorite mid-range price for Xfinity series? I think Josh Berry, 8,200 is really good. Harrison Burton, you're playing tournament. I know, Greg, you play tournament. So Harrison Burton's one I really like because he should finish in the top 5. That's who he is. He's a top 5 driver. He could get you lead some laps too and maybe some fast laps. So I think Harrison Burton really at mid-range is just way too cheap. So I do like him. But Josh Berry also, he offers you some place differential. Those would probably be the 2 main mid-range guys. I mean, I know 8K is a little high for mid-range. I mean, if you were looking more in a 6, 7K, I honestly, this 6, 7K range kind of sucks. I mean, Lebaye's good. I like Lebaye. But for this slate, I'm more going with expensive and then cheap guys, to be honest. I usually don't do that, but today I am. Purdue, or however you spell it, got beat too. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I actually didn't hate that one as bad, so I had in some of my brackets. I had North Texas. North Texas is actually a really good team. They're gonna beat Villanova, in the round of 32. Any more questions about these two slates, guys? Any more questions? If I don't get any questions, I'm probably gonna head out. Both slates, Truck, Xfinity. Trucks, Josh Berry, stay away from that. Just trying to get some Atlanta laps. Yeah, I could see that, but at the same time, oops, wrong sheet. Who else are you playing down here? Like, if you're playing cheap guys, I mean, you could play Hocevar. I think Hocevar's fine too. Those are probably the two guys I'd go to down there. But I'm not really on Ellis or Ogata. I mean, those cars just suck, man. Like, they're not gonna pay off. So, it's just hard. That's why I said, like, I'm kind of more trying not to get down there with my lineups. Like, I'm just trying to, I'm playing Kyle Busch, but then I'm really not playing any of these guys. Like, the only guy up here I'm really playing a lot of today is Enfinger, and it's just a bunch of these guys in the mid-range. Thanks for everything. 31 viewers, 12 likes. Take some time and like and subscribe, Sportsman. Yeah, of course. If you're not a subscriber, you gotta subscribe, man. Doing this all year, doing this tomorrow too. You'll know when I'm up, when my videos are up, and of course, leave a like. Really helps me out a ton. So, likes really help me help the algorithm on YouTube. Get my content out there more. So, yeah, thank you guys for being here. Opinion on this lineup for Xfinity: Centrix, Gregson, Truex, Littleware, Star. Yeah, that's fine. That's kind of where I expect a lot of cash lines to be. A lot of people are going to go full Stars and Scrubs. Like, that's a full Stars and Scrubs lineup. I think that's fine. I think that can definitely happen. Yeah, I like that lineup. That's a good lineup. I actually don't think I have any lineups like that today. I think I might have one or two, but because I think that's what everybody's going to do today. Everyone's just going to try to, shove those three in there, and then Cody Ware, and then just hope that Star or Little or Fincham or any of those guys work out. I'm going no lower than Holmes. Okay, yeah, see, that's I like that. That's kind of where most of my lineups are. I believe I have a little bit. I think I just have like a little bit of these guys on here. Like, I think I have a little bit Barry and a little bit Hocevar in my lineups. That's it. I don't think I played any self. Honestly, I don't remember. I can look on here. Oh, never mind. I can't find it anymore. Fantasy Cruncher's gone. That's unfortunate. Any more questions we got here? If I don't get any more questions, I'm going to head out. So, get those away. Xfinity, Truck Series, both series. I don't know if anyone in here just got in here or not. Hopefully we'll have it's going to be a good day of sports too, man. College basketball day and 2 NASCAR races. It's going to be awesome. Have a million screens on at the same time in my apartment. Hopefully if someone in here gets a big takedown today, or me, that'd be nice. Any more questions? All right, guys. Thanks for what you do, Nate. Yeah, of course, man. Of course. Well, doesn't look like I'm getting any questions, so probably gonna head out. I'm gonna go enjoy this Saturday watching basketball. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day as well. Of course, as always, if you want any more questions that you didn't ask on here, my Twitter's @NateLane_, and I'll answer questions for you over there. So be sure to go give me a follow over there. But yeah, that's really all I got today. Before you head out, make sure to leave a like. Thank you guys so much for being here, and have a great rest of your day. Like I swear every time.